All right, everyone. Welcome back to part two of your weekly dose of how awesome Team Ramrod is and how trash you all are. Um, we're gonna talk some trades. There was I don't know, there's always decent trade activity in our league. So there's a few that we'll talk about. Daltrey, of course, wants draft picks. So he moved John Carlson at an 11th for Harley and a ninth. Him and Corey hooking up on this trade. Plums, what do you think of this one?
I mean, I remember the good old days when John Carlson was a keeper, and he was the kind of defenseman everybody wanted. He's clearly not that anymore. Um, Thomas Harley, he's okay. It's kind of a nothing trade, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What do you think, Kyle?
Same.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't care really that much for either player. They're both pretty much the same. You got a seventh moving for a ninth. Or sorry, a ninth for an 11th. Same pick difference, but the pick does make a difference. I don't know if I'd pay a ninth for Carlson, but I know I actually I know I wouldn't, but
Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of hoping for his glory days at this point.
I mean Washington has started off pretty hot. They've been scoring a lot of goals, so maybe he just wanted in on that offense. But I mean Dallas scores a lot of goals, so
Yeah. I guess like there might be a big push for Ovechkin to break Gretzky's record this year, so you
Mhm.
know, Carlson could get in on some of that action.
He probably will. But yeah, to me it was a nothing trade. I don't think it makes any team significantly better. It just an exchange of defensemen maybe for a change, look different look in your lineup. Um, Team Rocket active here. Picking up Hofer and a 15th. We all know Hofer's having a great night. Tolvanen and a sixth going the other way to Durka Paterka. Burge, why don't you tell us about this one?
Yeah, this is maybe a bit of an overpayment by me, but I'm fine with it. Uh, Hofer has been a solid young goalie, and he's going to be, in my opinion, an elite goalie in the NHL. And I'm gonna overpay a little bit now to avoid really massively overpaying later. And last year I made some deals to improve my keeper base, but unfortunately I had to give up my hot young goalie Kochetkov to get the deal done. No regrets there, but I'm just kind of looking to replace Kochetkov, and I think Hofer's the guy to do it.
That's fair. Plums, what do you think of this trade?
Um, it could come out playing. It could be a home run for Berge if.
As a Binnington holder, let's hear your video.
That's the thing. It's like it's funny because the Blues haven't really had any consistency either up front or at net, right? Like for example, Hoffer, for most of the games this season, he's been kind of pretty solid. And then tonight's game, he goes ahead and shits the bed. And then Bennington comes in and he also shits the bed tonight too. So, you know,
Not really taking
uh,
advantage of his opportunity.
well, exactly. Neither one of them has really taken the baton and run with it. So, if Hoffer can do it, then it's a home run for Burge. Even if he turns out to be a 1B goaltender, because of just how few goaltenders there are in this league, it's a good price. I made a comparable deal later on.
I'm always in the mindset if you're moving your six, it should be for an elite forward or a player that will improve your keeper base, right? And I think everyone knows I'm big on Hofer. I thought for a couple of years I've been saying that he's gonna be the man in St. Louis. It's just a matter of time. So I don't mind the price you paid. Like you said, you're paying it now, as long as you're keeping him. If he's a rental and you're paying a six for Hofer, then I don't like the deal
No,
in that
I'm
case. But
I'm
if you're keeping him,
I'm keeping him. That's the plan. He, somebody I don't expect him to have full time duties this year, but he's somebody I'm going to be holding on to with the expectation that he's going to take the number one job. You know, maybe not even next year, but probably the year after.
He's worth the risk in my opinion. If you're planning on keeping him for the long haul, which you've been doing a slow rebuild over the last couple seasons, so I don't see why you're gonna get impatient now. But
Yeah, and well, the other thing too, right, is I'm holding on to Markstrom, and Markstrom's great, but he's aging out, so I need some depth at the goalie position.
man, Markstrom, remember when he was traded straight up for Tyler Seguin? Those were the days.
Yeah,
Back when Seguin was good, though, I have to add. Um, and
And
now
he
it's the
wasn't.
opposite.
And Markstrom wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Markstrom was always a goalie who had a lot of potential, right? Um, he just wasn't in a good situation until he hit Vancouver.
True, he was playing on a dog shit Florida team.
Yeah. Speaking of Florida players, Lundell, who I tried to sell off and no one bit, 2 hour window, boys. Lundell on 12 going to Dre in exchange for Vetrano and a 15th going to Domo. Plums, what do you think of this deal?
Um, I kind of like it just because Lundell, I think, does a few more things than Petrano. And also, let's be honest, Anaheim's a garbage team, so I mean, most players on Anaheim, you kind of avoid them like the plague. So I mean, it's a good pickup for Dre. So I mean, and Lundell plays, I think he plays in the mid six or the bottom six. I can't remember, but he plays good minutes for Florida. And I mean, Florida's you kind of want almost every player on their team. So
He was playing second line while Barkov was hurt. Barkov is back now, so I think he goes back down to the third line.
mm.
But he gets some power play time on the second unit. He's very useful player. What do you think of this one, Kyle? Berge?
eh, yeah, I'm not big on it, but we'll see.
I was curious about this one because Nick had just used his waiver wire um, priority to pick up Vetrano and then deals him, right? I don't know. I think having your priority number in the waivers, if you're going to pick someone up, it should be someone that's maybe you're not keeping for a game or two, that you see something in to otherwise just pick up someone who you don't have to wait a couple days to get. That's my thought process on it. But I like Lundell. I like Vetrano. This was a okay trade for both teams. We got Travis here picking up Malkin and Cotter, and an 18th for Labushkin, McMahon, and a 16th. Burge, tell me about this one.
So Travis got Malkin and Cotter in an 18th.
Yeah,
Hmm. Actually,
for
kind of like this for Travis actually.
yeah, I agree.
Uh,
I think he stole Malkin for a 16th. In what league does fucking Malkin get traded for a 16th? Even if he's not Malkin in his prime, like
yeah,
it's essentially a pickup grade to
yeah,
say here's Malkin and
pretty
Cotter,
much.
who's been pretty hot to start the season.
Yeah, Jersey's been pretty good. Yeah, no, I like this trade for Travis. I mean, Pittsburgh's been a little bit slow at the gate, but it's Malkin. I'm sure he'll do well.
Malkin had 11 points at the time of this trade.
Oh, fine. Yeah, he's doing great.
So I don't know. Before I say my thoughts, like Plums, what do you think?
I actually think it's a great trade for Travis as well. I think again, like in what world, can you imagine even just a couple years ago, imagining, Evgeny Malkin getting traded for the ass end of a draft?
Yeah.
In what world? Bobby McMahon's not a bad forward. I mean, as a Leaf, I like him, but you know, not a comparable forward at all.
I don't have an issue with the players in this deal. I think the picks compensation was just I think Travis really fucking took it to Domo in this one. Um Pick compensation wise, but we'll see that there's always a sucker out here. And Travis likes to think that I bully people. But Travis is a bully trader. You'll see that he turns this trade into an absolute rape later on. based solely on what was just paid for them. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes when we get there. Chikrin and a ninth for Sanderson and a 14th. The dumpster fire getting Chikrin. Domo picking up a senator. No surprise there. Plums, what do you think of this one?
So, I mean, again, Chikrin's playing pretty heavy minutes on the Capitals. I mean, he's hurt now, but I mean, um,
Always hurt.
I just don't understand the pick differential to me, because I mean, Sanderson and Chikrin are pretty comparable defensemen.
Eh.
They're both offensive defensemen. They're both pretty comparable. I think I don't know what their stats look like this season right now, but like I mean, just the eye test wise, they're pretty comparable. So I mean, the pick differential is pretty vast. So for me, it's a good win for dumpster fire,
Yeah, that ninth is and for 14th is a big difference in this trade.
especially if you're rebuilding. Like it's a good pick.
Yeah. Burge, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, because I agree with Kyle here. I don't really see the difference between these two defensemen. If anything, I think Sanderson's a little bit better, at least this season anyway.
That's
So,
why he paid the ninth. That's why.
oh, that's right.
No, you know what I think? I think people in this league forget that you can make a fucking hockey deal and not include picks, but everyone's horny to get picks. When sometimes you just need to make a move to make your team better and helps another GM out make their team better, right? So when it's two comparable players, it doesn't always have to be a draft pick, in my opinion. It could easily just have the value player for player and be like, okay, this works for both of us. But we don't see that often in our league ever. Um, this next trade here, I don't know if you guys heard, but Cousins and Moore are about to go off. I saw that in the chat yesterday. It made me laugh because that's Travis peddling his trash again. Um, he's got a fucking third line winger from LA who's about to go off, and Buffalo player who Buffalo can't get fucking shit going. But he picked up Cousins, Moore, and a seventh in this trade. So of course he wants to make them seem like they're fucking gold. He's gonna paint his shit pile of shit gold here to be like, here, take it. But he got rid of he got a seventh in exchange for an eighth for Malkin and Cotter with Braden. Now this was hours after he picked up Malkin and Cotter for a 16th, and he flips them for I know everyone's gonna say, oh, it's one pick upgrade. You're paying a fucking seventh for two guys that you could have found equal or better on the waiver wire. That's where I had the issue with it, but some people are
100%.
like, it's one pick difference. Yeah, okay, but it's a fucking seven. Like you could do a lot more with that seven, but whatever. You let Travis peddle his trash to you, and you fucking deserve everything that comes your way. In my
I had a similar discussion with Travis because he asked me if I was like there was any players on his team that I was willing to give my sixth up for, and I said no. He's like, well, the sixth for a seventh, and I'm like, he's like, oh, it's just one pick upgrade. I'm like, yes, but it's moving out of the first round to the second round.
yeah.
And let's be honest, if you're an NHL GM in real, like, okay, let's pretend we're real life NHL GMs here. You want to pick in the first round versus the second round, unless your pick's the 32nd pick, in which case you don't give a shit. But realistically, you want to pick in the first round. And if you're going to give up your pick in the first round, it better be for something big. And this is even like, the second or third round. You still want to make sure that it's worth something. I will say this for Travis. Good on you, man. Yeah, you pulled it off. You're a snake oil salesman. But I don't know. I don't know why Braden would do this. I mean, however, I'm saying that now, and watch Malkin be the reason why he fucks me this week. But
It doesn't matter. There were players that put up Malkin's numbers on the waiver wire he got for free and kept his seventh. That's just poor management, in my opinion. But anytime Travis comes calling, wanting your picks, like of course he wants to have his way with you, right? So you got to be careful when you deal with a GM like that who only cares about selling right now. He's aggressively asking everyone, right? So Travis, good on you. I think you got one over on poor little Braden here. which I'm not upset about. If he would have actually know what he was doing, then he would have made a deal that was that dumb. But good on you for preying on the stupid. Um, Kyle, what you got to say about this one, Burge?
Yeah, and I mean, like, you're right. These guys are borderline waiver wire guys, and you're giving up a seventh for them. I don't care that you're getting an eighth in return. That seventh is huge in the draft.
Yeah,
You know, the
not
sixth
even
and
the
seventh
draft and trade
rounders.
value. In trade
Yeah,
value.
it's
You can
huge.
get a good, really good forward for a seventh. When you throw an eighth out there, it's like, no.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, I don't get this from Braden's point of view, but you're right though. Travis is aggressive, and he gets in people's faces with trades, and I think he probably got to them. And
Just like he did with
they,
Daltrey and Mitchkov. He had instant regret.
yeah, so I hope Travis does something with these picks and he upgrades his keeper base, because I don't know what he's going to purchase next season with all these picks. Like, he can get all the sixes and sevens he wants. He can only keep five at the end of the season,
Yeah.
and it's like, and to me, you gotta leverage all of that draft capital and get something good out of it, like something that really fucking stellar. Because at the end of the year, when we put shit back into the fucking into the pool, you know, we're putting we're not putting elite people back into the pool. Yeah, we might put a lower level keeper into the pool, but we're not putting elite. So
Yeah,
to me, like, these are really good trades, but Travis now has to work on using that to find elite level keepers to boost his keeper base.
I agree with that.
Agreed. I think he's got to weaponize it.
Yeah. Yeah, he should. But he's attacking the wrong players. He's trying to weaponize it and go after guys that everyone knows are untouchable, right? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many sixes you throw at someone, they're not gonna be like, yeah, here's Connor Bedard. Like, fuck off. Like, come on. Put your head out of your ass. Like, be reasonable. Don't treat your fellow GMs like they're idiots and they're just gonna give you whatever you want because you have a bunch of draft picks. Like, you know?
Yeah, because like, and I think this is
I
the
don't
point
know
I
if he
made.
was after Bedard. I'm just using him as an
Yeah,
example.
yeah, but this is the point I was making to about Dan last year. He's not willing to pay the extra. I'm like, if we threw all of our players back in the draft, right? Um, you know, and I'll use Bobrovsky as an example because that was the player of discussion last year. Like, Bobrovsky is probably going for a second rounder, right? And you're going to need to pay more than a six to get a second rounder. And sometimes I think people forget, like, that a six is just a six. It's not a first rounder. It's not a second. It's not a third. You're getting a sixth rounder,
It's a
right?
first round in our draft. You
Yeah.
can take all those first 5 rounds off the board.
Mhm.
No, you got to, and getting a first round caliber player in this league, not everybody wants to give that up because they're hard to get.
Yeah.
They're very, very hard to get, and like, you're going to have to pay a premium to get them. Um,
You
and
got to
I
get
think
them
a
while
lot.
they're young.
Well, yeah, and I think the people in our league, like, this is a strategy that would have worked years ago in our league, but now I think a lot more people are wise and a lot more cautious about giving up those top tier players.
Agree. I will say this though, Travis. Good on you. Like you fucking got a great deal there. So I'm not gonna fault you there. I just think Braden was dumb for accepting it.
100%. Like, Travis is making some great deals here, and hopefully he can turn it into something.
Sauce Pass sending Brant Clark in a 16th over to Team Ramrod for Vanacek in an 18th. Vanacek was getting the start on Saturday. I didn't need the goalie start, especially from San Jose. I'm just like trying to see who needed goalie starts, and he answered the call. So I traded him to him for a pick upgrade. I asked for a 2 round upgrade because that's what I posted in the chat, and he complied. I don't really know if you guys want to talk about that. I don't really care to talk about it. It was just a pick upgrade. So Actually, I
Good.
think it hurt him, but he still won. Then I was able to sell Brant Clark off for another pick upgrade for Dave Riddich with Domo. But again, pick upgrade. Do we want to talk about that? I don't want to talk about that. I just want you guys to know that I've been doing that. Then Travis added again here, actually spending some of that draft capital, sending Paterka and a seventh to Svech for Cooley and a tenth. Now this is what Travis's strategy is. He's getting all these young potential superstars, and he's hoping that they pan out. So now he has Cooley, Michkov, Demidov. There's another one I can't think of right now, but and he's going with the young players who have high ceiling. Um, but yeah, we'll see if it pans out. Plums, you got any thoughts on this trade?
I actually kind of like it. I mean, Paterka is gonna be a pretty good player, but he's stuck on Buffalo. Cooley, we've seen his work already. He's a really good player. I think whenever as Utah gets better, he's gonna get better. Um, so I think it's a good keeper player. I think this is a great example of weaponizing those picks. Now, I mean, mind you, you traded Paterka, so now you got to change your name,
He
uh,
should.
as the rules go. But I mean, overall, I don't dislike the trade either, and I think for Svetch, like yeah, okay, like you get a good pick, and I think for Paterka, you get a good player. I think this is a great example of weaponizing.
What do you think, Burge?
I don't know if Cooley is going to pan out to be like some elite guy, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's not a bad trade, but it's one of those things you never know.
I think they're
Uh,
even right now, those guys, but I think Cooley is going to be better long term. I think he has the higher ceiling than Paterka.
Well, I've looked at Cooley, and like last year was his rookie season. He had 44 points in 82 games
Yeah,
with the Yotes.
yeah.
And so I think that's
Yotes
like
were not good last year.
and I mean already in 10 games he's got 7 points. So I mean it's a pretty good body of work for a guy who's in his second year, you
Yeah.
know. So I mean, if he keeps up in that trajectory, he's gonna be very good.
He's gonna get a lot of assists passing to my boy Gunther. Uh, but yeah, he's gonna be probably about an 80 point guy in about 3 years. It's gonna take some time to get there. Again, he's only 20, 21, something like that. So
20.
yeah, 20, right? And he put up 44 points as a 19-year-old last year. So um, he's got a higher ceiling than Paterka, though, is my point. So long term, it's a great deal for Travis. Dan gets the same type of player right now, but a better draft pick. So I think both teams did well in that.
And I
Uh,
mean, Paterka is also a little bit older, and he's got like his best season was last year with 50 points. Before that, it was 32. So it's like they're comparable players, but I think the edge is on Cooley because he's just a little bit younger.
for the long term,
Yeah.
yeah. You were involved in a trade here, Plums. You sent Seelovs and a sixth over to Nick O'Brien here for Ingram and an eighth. You want to talk about this?
Yeah. So I kind of Seelovs wasn't panning out for me. I think Lankinen kind of took the acting starting role, and I mean until Demko comes back, if he ever does come back, I don't like his injury's so weird. Um, that I don't think Seelovs was going to play any meaningful minutes. Ingram is right now the starter for Utah. Um, his numbers have been meh. He made me look like a genius for about 2 periods after I made the trade, and then he went and blew a 4 goal lead. But I mean, still put up 40 saves. So I mean, still, overall, um, it's a 2 pick upgrade. And for me, because I plan on competing, my pick isn't going to be a very good pick. And still getting an eighth back, it's still not bad for a guy who is either a starter or a 1B at worst case scenario.
Yeah. Burge, what do you think?
yeah, I think it's a great deal for Kyle here, and it'll be a good goalie upgrade for him.
I agree. I like the deal for you. I was looking at Ingram myself. I just didn't have the six to get him. But it does his stock is a little low right now. Utah has two of their top four D men injured for the next 3 to 4 months. So their defense is a little depleted right now. So I wouldn't hold too much stock in those stats right now. He's been playing way better than Veg. Unless they go make a trade, then it's Ingram's net for the year. And he's not a keeper for you, so you just care about this year. So
Exactly.
no, I like the deal for you. Again, this goes back to O'Brien selling players. I don't think he feels confident enough in his team, and he wants to try and maybe move to next year. This is a pick upgrade, so we're not going to really talk about this one.
I
Uh,
will say this though for that oh no, sorry, I'm jumping the gun. Sorry, I thought we were on the
no,
Montour trade.
Pickard and an 18th for a 17th. Who cares? Pick upgrade. We will talk about Montour though. Montour and a 14th going to Corey for Kraus and a 10th. So you had something to say? Let's hear it.
Well, Montour lit it tonight. He had a hat trick.
Hattie, yeah,
So I mean, in Seattle's absolute destruction of Montreal.
I was very excited about that. But yeah, I think I like Montour, but I also like Kraus. So a 10th and a 14th going back in this deal, like to me, if both teams got what they wanted, what they felt they needed, I think it's a good trade for both teams. Any thoughts, Burge?
It's just it's really strange because again, like these guys have been waiver wire pickups the last couple of years, and now we're seeing them exchange for picks,
Yeah.
and I find that so weird. But they're solid players, and it's already panning out for Corey. And you can't. I don't think you go wrong with Lawson Krause. I think he's great.
Kraus was already moved right
Yeah.
after. Where do you move him here? To Svech. Kraus in a ninth for Colton and a 15th. And Colton goes on the IR right after. So, any thoughts on this, Plums?
Not really. I mean, again, that's a pretty wide pick disparity. So I mean, Svetch definitely paid for him. So I mean,
Well, Svech
I'm
got the ninth, right? So,
oh, Svetch got the ninth. Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
You
okay.
got
So then,
Kraus in the ninth.
oh well, then that's okay.
That's Domo just spending.
I mean, for Ross Colton, I mean, I like Ross Colton and all, but I don't think he's that much better than Lawson Krause personally.
He's been on a hot start, though, right? So, Domo rides those waves. Who's hot right now, not who's going to be hot long term.
Well, that IR looks bad.
Yeah, let's look bad right after the trade.
That's buying a Ferrari and hitting a pylon right as soon as you get it up past the parking lot. That's
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's awful. I've had that happen to me before. I paid big to get Crawford back in the day. Never played again.
Yeah, he moved Eichel.
I moved Eichel for him. Yeah, and the thing is, Eichel didn't play for like 2 years because of injury, so it wasn't like a huge loss to me. But yeah, that was a shit trade.
All right, let's go on. Let's move on to this week's matchups, boys. This is where it's going to get exciting here. We're going to write down some fucking predictions as we to keep tabs here as we go. We got here Le Champion, Team Ramrod. Oh, look at this perfect timing. We have 10 minutes to get through this. Le Champion, Team Ramrod, taking on Forgot About Dre. Um, the best from last season's regular season versus the best at the end of the day from last season. Who do you got, Plums?
I've got Dre. Uh, no disrespect to your team. I think both teams are, like I said, both are,
Very
I think,
disrespectful.
top three teams. I just think, but McDavid being hurt, that's going to hurt you. And I think goaltending wise, I think he's got the better goaltenders.
Check those stats
And
again, bud. Whew.
I know. Okay, but I made this decision before. So and I'm sticking to my decisions. But I think Dre's going to edge it out. I think it's going to be close. It could even turn out to be a tie, but I have Dre over.
What do you got, Burge?
I got Dre.
Wow.
You feel the disrespect? Do you feel it?
You know what? I thrive when people disrespect Le Champion because that's all I get is disrespect from you people in this league. And guess what? I fucking prove you wrong every fucking time. Le Champion is walking away with this win. Old McDavid's out. Big deal. Big fucking deal. He hasn't been doing much so far this season anyway. You know what? I always deal with injuries at the start of the year and I still overcome and take
And
everything. So
would he trade McDavid for a bag of pucks?
no.
Klondike bar?
No, I'm
Good
not
damn.
trading ever. Because again, you're not gonna get a McDavid in the 6th round. But no, Team Ramrod for the win, the champion. The dumpster fire. The only one of the few two teams that will win, taking on Neil. Plums, who do you got here?
I have Neil taking this one. Just think better overall roster. I think Dumpster Fire is really earning the name.
Can't argue that. Burge, who you got?
I got Neil.
I'm also choosing Neil because Mark's team is just trash. It's a dumpster fire. Everyone knows it. Speaking of dumpster fires, Daltrey taking on Svetch. Plums, who do you got here?
I think Svetch ends up taking it. I just think better roster, and then given Daltrey's luck.
Uh, Kyle, who do you got?
I think Daltrey's bad luck is running out. He's gonna fucking murder Dan.
Murder even. Wow.
I only wanted him to win. Like
I'm gonna go
the
with
bloodlust over there.
Dan because I can't go for Daltrey when he's 0-3. And I know last week he missed the goalie start. Just being
Oh
Daltrey,
shit.
flaking out. Kachekhov's confirmed and he's on his bench. He has fucking Decord in the net when Grubauer's confirmed. I don't know, it's just bad management. You can't trust them. So I'm gonna go with Dan. Derek taking on Patches. Who do you got here, Plums?
I have Patches actually to win because Derek's roster's pretty okay. Goaltending, he's got the
It's okay.
edge.
You can be mean.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, oh, it's okay. Like,
I'm
fucking.
just so Canadian. So I'm sorry. But yeah, I think just Patches has the better team. I think he's gonna edge the win.
What do you think, Kyle? Other Kyle?
Uh, I mean, I'm just disappointed that Patches is selling. I don't see a need for it. And Derek's not. But Patches has a better team. So I'm conflicted on this one. I'm going to call it a tie.
Oh, wow. Wow,
I could see that.
interesting. I'm going with Derek. Again, I don't know what Patch's team will look like at the end of the week. He's accumulating all these assets. From my understanding, is he doesn't plan on using these assets right now. So until I see some action, I can't commit.
It's nice
Uh,
that we've covered all the bases here.
yeah. Plums versus the Braden bye week. Who do you got, Plums?
This might come as a shock, but I'm gonna go with me. Um, I just think, my team's better. I think I've got, I would have thought better goaltending until Binnington's performance this evening and Ingram's the other night, but I think overall, I think I've got the better roster.
Burge, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Braden bye week. He has been disappointing this year for once. I'm going to keep supporting that.
I'm also taking the Braden bye week. Until he loses, probably, unless he's playing against me. But I like I said last week, I want him to go and keep winning until he matches up against me again, and I'm gonna be the one to take him down. But yeah, I'm gonna go with him this week. Pure ass versus Team Rocket. Who do you got, Plums?
Um, I got Team Rocket. I think he's got a better roster than his record shows, and pure ass. I mean, his roster, I think, is kind of just overdoing it right now, and I think eventually going to come down to earth.
Interesting take. What you got, Kyle?
I'm going to take myself again here. Unfortunate slow start for my goalies this week, but Casey's had a slow start with his goalies as well. So, I think Casey's lineup is filled with figure skaters, and they're all going to miss their jumps.
I'm gonna take pure ass because, again, he hasn't lost yet. Prove that he can be beaten. But I'm gonna put some faith in him, and let's see Team Rocket blast off again.
Giant killer over here. Worst mistake of your life.
Casey's not a 10-year-old boy, so
I've never met the guy. Is he? I don't know.
no. Even the 10-year-old boy could beat you, right? So Sauce Pass versus the Zabana Jihadist. Who do you got here, Plums?
I've got Saucier Pass. I just think he's got the better team. Zabina Jihadist, he's got an okay team, but it's just I think Saucier's, just better.
There.
Saucier, whatever.
You heard it here, Sean. Sausage is better. Verge, who you got?
I have zero respect for Sean's team, so I got to go with Corey.
Just so everyone knows, I have zero respect for Sean, not specifically his team, just Sean in general. So I'm gonna go with Corey out of spite. Not because I think his team is special. Spite. You heard it here. Travis versus Dobo. Some basement dwellers here. Who do we got here, Plums?
Does it matter? No, I mean in the battle of who gives a shit, I'm giving it to Domo.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Who do you got?
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm gonna make that unanimous because I think Travis has the trashiest team in the league right now. I know we're running out of time. We have less than 2 minutes, but I want to take a moment to say that since I've been doing that pretty much weekly, to me the matchup of the week is definitely Le Champion versus Dre. Not just because I'm in there, but that these are two of the perennial top teams in our league, and they are going at it for the first of two meetings this season. We rarely meet twice in a season, so this is gonna be a lot of fun this week. But to me, that's the biggest matchup. Any input from you guys on what you think is the biggest matchup?
I agree. That is definitely the biggest matchup of the week. And I'll say that I think the second biggest matchup of the week is Mentally Bedarded versus the Braden bye week. I think that's going to be an interesting one.
No, I can't argue that. What do you
I
think?
agree. I agree that the big the prime card is your match, the marquee match. Mine could be interesting because I'd be interesting to see if Braden can continue to be undefeated.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm very curious in that match. I'll be following that. Boys, we have less than a minute, so we could get cut off at any time. So, any final words?
Marshmallow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Honey Badger.
Ah, all right, guys. Good luck, everyone, this week. Thanks for watching. Except for you, Sauce. Go fuck yourself, bud.